Hello, Crafty Crandall here, and today I have something super special. I am unboxing this Hahnemuhle sketchbook that In Liquid Color reviewed on her channel recently, which I will link for you down below. As you can see, this is the Akademie Aquarellle sketchbook. She has actually painted on the front page, and so I bought this from her shop, quote unquote used, and I am so excited to be unboxing this for you today and plan on doing a full watercolor painting of my own inside of it so that I can both unbox it and review it. But you guys, seriously, look at how incredible this is. So this is Denise Soden, or In Liquid Color, here on YouTube. She painted this beautiful picture of a blue jay. I believe that's the bird that it is. Apologies if it is not. I'm not good at bird species. That said, it is just remarkable. I love to see how she puts in so much detail and color in her pieces, but more on that in a bit. As you can see, the book was handwritten in by Denise herself. She also included her watercolor postcard there telling you to recycle and also giving you a coupon code. And then she did all of her swatches and everything which she used to review the sketchbook there in the back. More on my thoughts in just a minute. So for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Denise Soden fan. So this was such an awesome thing to receive in the mail. I was so fortunate to be able to purchase one of these. I did not, get the one that I had first tried to get, but I'm so glad that I was fast enough to at least get one of them. So can't wait to use this sketchbook. I will try it out here for you today, give you my thoughts on the sketchbook in general, see if it kind of mirrors Denise's thoughts. But I highly recommend that you go check out her video reviewing all of the sketchbooks in such detail. She did a phenomenal job with that video, and I can't recommend it enough. I am absolutely overjoyed to have one of her pieces here. I've had one of her prints for quite some time. I don't know if you can see it there on the wall, but the penguin piece that she did. Love that piece to death, and I have never had one of her originals, so this is such a fantastic thing. I am just amazed that I have an original piece from one of the most influential artists of my time, if that makes sense. She is the reason that I love watercolor today. She's the reason that I picked up watercolor in the first place, and so I just really can't express how much this means to me. So definitely going to be using this sketchbook to its fullest, and I'm just so excited to have it in my possession. Jumping into my own painting, I decided to paint a Humboldt penguin because I wanted to kind of emulate Denise's style, test out the sketchbook in the same way as far as the full-scale painting was concerned, and also just because, as you probably know if you've watched any of my videos, I love penguins. So I wanted to be in keeping with the bird theme with my favorite type of bird. I started out with a wet wash of this magenta purple color, and I just wanted to, again, kind of emulate the wet and wet technique that Denise used for the background of her painting. I will say that I've got very similar comments on this. The paint didn't exactly move as much as I expected. It kind of pooled up in a lot of places. The paper warped rather quickly. But on the same token, I think that the color did turn out really pretty in the end. It just took a little bit of extra working to get it to flow the way that I wanted it to, whereas with 100% cotton paper, I don't think it would have been this much effort, if you will. That said, overall, that is pretty much my feelings on the sketchbook as a whole. It would obviously have been better with 100% cotton paper, but even in comparing it to some of the other sketchbooks that Denise reviewed and a couple of the other watercolor sketchbooks that I have that were not part of the review, I think that this one is going to be more useful as far as painting for gouache paintings, because The paper to me is almost more like a hot press paper than a cold press paper. As you can see, you can like get little textures from the paper itself, as this more close-up image kind of implies. However, I find that like the actual painting process over this paper has a lot less tooth and a lot less texture to it. So although you can kind of see the paper texture beneath the paint, I don't find that that texture actually carries through in the painting process itself. Like I don't find my brush catching, I don't find the water reacting to the paper as though it was textured. So I think from now on I'm going to be using this sketchbook primarily for gouache or for things that don't require a lot of water, because the water didn't react very well with this sketchbook. Honestly, for a much better and more in-depth review of exactly the properties of this sketchbook for painting, I 155% recommend that you go and watch Denise's review, because her review is a lot more coherent than mine. However, if you're interested in seeing yet another example of a full-scale painting in this sketchbook, stick around and keep watching as I continue to paint this really adorable penguin. I think that the painting itself came out cute at the end. It was a struggle, honestly, to paint this. It was a very monochromatic piece, and the layering process took absolutely forever in this piece because the paper doesn't dry very quickly. It was really surprising just to compare like dry times for the paint in this sketchbook versus some of my other sketchbooks. I felt like I had to wait forever in between layers to add more color. And at times during this painting, it actually came out to bite me because I didn't wait long enough. And lo and behold, I managed to mess some parts up. But as I said, overall, I think it ended up being okay, and it won't deter me from using the sketchbook in the future. I just have to know, what pieces will go well in this sketchbook as opposed to any of the other probably 5 watercolor sketchbooks that I currently own. I'm not needing the paper specifically for watercolor pieces. I have a bunch of other sketchbooks, so I'm not like, I didn't buy this for the purpose of having a really good watercolor sketchbook. After hearing Denise's review, I knew what I was getting, and it absolutely lives up to that. That said, I don't think that it would be a bad choice if you are someone who uses a lot of like more ink and just light watercolor washes. I think that this would be a great sketchbook for that. For any gouache or more mixed media paintings, I think it would be great. Even honestly, acrylic might work well here. I don't personally use a lot of acrylics, but I think that the paper texture kind of lends itself more to less wet mediums than watercolor necessarily. Overall, I am just super excited to own this sketchbook. As I mentioned, Denise is really one of the reasons that I got into watercolor painting to begin with. And so to own an original painting by her in a sketchbook that she reviewed and painted in herself is just really something special for me. And so this is probably my favorite sketchbook, not for the properties of the sketchbook itself, but more so for the sentimental value and, just owning something from someone who inspired me to get into painting myself is just phenomenally exciting and really special. I hope that you enjoyed this video overall. Let me know if you'd like to see a watercolor sketchbook comparison of my own, as I do own a couple of different sketchbooks than were reviewed in Denise's video. Additionally, please let me know if you want to see any more real-time footage or that sort of painting content, or what type of artistic content you're interested in from me. I really appreciate your time, and again, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will leave you to the end to see the outcome of the painting and also just the outcome of the sketchbook itself, how this piece kind of correlates in with Denise's piece as well, and how the sketchbook looks so far. I look forward to painting more in this sketchbook, and will likely do some videos in the future where I am painting in this sketchbook, though again with more of a gouache or a different style medium than watercolor necessarily.
Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more artistic content, as I post new content on art and book related content every single Tuesday and occasionally on Friday. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Bye.